I'm Hazel, and this is a guide to the Scale Commander Sarkareth fight in Aberrus on normal and heroic difficulty. This is a 3-phase fight, not actually too long this time, and most of the work is going to happen in Phase 3. We start nice and simple in Phase 1. Scorching Bomb is going to target a range and plant a big roasting fire spot on the ground. You get 2 every cycle, one after the other. Bait them out of the way if you can, and move out of them if you can't. Glittering Surge will happen pretty quick into the fight and once more at the end of the phase. It does massive raid damage, so stack up and burn some healing cooldowns. Oppressing Howl pushes you back and puts a debuff on everyone. Your job is to clear that debuff before the boss phases. There's a couple of ways to do that, we'll look at them shortly. Mass Disintegrate targets a few players and points blue arrows at them. If you stand in between the blue source and the target, you will take damage and a dot, but it will also clear your debuff. That's one way to do it. Removing a debuff does raid damage, so don't everyone clear at once. Searing Breath aims at a player and pulses a fire cone in that direction. Taking a tick of that will also clear your debuff. At some point during this phase, you want to stand in either this or the Disintegrate once to get rid of your Oppressing Howl. The breath dot can be dispelled, so that's nice, but either one is fine to heal through as long as the raid is pretty stacked. Burning Claws is the first phase tank mechanic. It deals physical damage and then leaves a long fire dot that pops for raid damage when it falls off, based on how much it hurt the tank. Mitigate the hit and as much of the dot as you can, and tank swap after every cast. After 2 minutes, or 65% health in the second Glittering Surge, we move into Phase 2. If you still had the Howl debuff, you're going to be stunned and take ugly damage, so it's a good thing that you cleared that already. Next, Sarkareth is going to very politely demonstrate a new mechanic for us. He'll stack the Oblivion dot onto everyone all the way up to 10, which sends you to the down phase. For the rest of the fight, if you get 10 stacks of Oblivion from anything, you'll pop down here. Okay, couple things to know about the down phase. First, you cannot stay here forever. You will die if you're not out after 25 seconds. Second, upstairs mechanics won't touch you down here, so it's actually a pretty safe place to be. Third, you can collect these little crystals to stack a haste and movement speed buff up to 10 times. Finally, you just run through the 3 rings when you're ready to go back. Visiting the down phase will clear your Oblivion, so if your stacks were getting high, you could take a few more to come down and reset them. Once we're back and the tanks kick Sarkareth, it's Phase 2 time. Abyssal Breath will aim at a player, do a little line attack, get out of the way. Null Glimmer adds will spawn in its path, interrupt and kill those. Desolate Blossom spawns some big puddles on the ground. Standing in the puddle will stack Oblivion onto you, so don't touch them unless you're trying to go down. Void Bomb spawns a couple of bombs on the ground near players. They look like this when they're on the ground. As long as they're sitting on the floor, they are absolutely roasting the raid, which we don't like. A player can walk into it to pick up the bomb and stop that. That person is now holding the bomb. They'll have a debuff counting down the timer on it. They need to get themselves into the down phase before the bomb goes off to save the raid from the explosion. That means they need to pick up 10 stacks of Oblivion, on purpose. In this phase, they can just stand in the Blossom puddle and that will send them down nice and easy. Hang out downstairs and eat candy until your bomb is gone, and then pop back up and carry on. Void Claws is the Phase 2 tank mechanic. It's kinda like the first one, except this time the explosion that you get when your dot expires has a range. Mitigate the hit, tank swap, and run away from the group when you're gonna blow. After another 2 minutes, it's time for Phase 3, and this is where it gets fun. Sark will start by blowing you around a bit and then doing a big cosmic ring on his location. That spawns more Null Glimmer adds, same thing as Phase 2. It's helpful during this transition if tanks pull him a bit to the north side and then raiders spread out along the southern side to drop these big swirls. Those spawn pillars and we want to break some of them and keep some for later. To break them, we get this big group soak mechanic called Embrace of Nothingness. Run that over a pillar and stack a bunch of people in it to help soak. After it goes off, everyone move away now because it's about to explode. It is more important to deal with the soak safely than it is to break pillars. They're not hurting anybody, they're mostly just in the way. So if all of them are super far, don't worry about it. Just do the soak and then move out. Single players with immunities can solo soak, and late in the fight, it can be worth it for the target to just go die alone rather than have the raid split the damage. Speaking of garbage everywhere, there's little raining swirls through all of Phase 3. Itty bitty things. These will give you 5 stacks of Oblivion if you catch them, which means you can stand in 2 to get to the down phase. If you're not trying to do that, avoid them. Why go down, you say? Because bombs are still here and these are still brutally dangerous. They're just like phase 2, they need to be scooped up right away, and the bomb holder now has to catch 2 tiny swirls to take their bomb downstairs. It's harder than before, but it has to be done. Leaving a rogue bomb just sitting on the floor has wiped many people, and it will wipe many more. Hurtling Barrage aims a disintegration arrow at somebody, this time from a portal off the edge of the platform. The target needs to move to the side to aim their arrow safely away from people. The tanks now deal with Void Slash, which is kinda like the Burning Claws from phase 1, except this time it's applied with a frontal cone, so nobody else can be in front of the boss. If someone random wanders in front and eats the Void Slash, they will basically wipe the raid when their dot explodes, so don't do that. I say that having done that, it's hard, there's a lot going on. Finally, Scouring Eternity is a big bang that you need to hide from by getting behind one of the pillars. You'll see the safe path marked on the ground like this. Don't be right on top of the pillar in this stuff, stack in the clear line behind it. This is why we dropped those swirls on the south edge. If you put them on the north side, there are still safe spots, but it's way tighter to squeeze into. On normal, that's the fight. On heroic, there's a couple of upgrades to look at. Heroic phase 1 has some extra swirls to dodge, watch your feet. The Null Glimmer ads get a self-heal on heroic. You pretty much just burn them down like before. And in phase 2 and phase 3, there is a doozy of a new heroic mechanic called Infinite Duress. One player gets a dot called Infinite Duress. When it's dispelled, the whole raid gets knocked back from their position. The target just pops straight up like popcorn, they're fine. The target of Infinite Duress needs to get towards the edge outside of the raid, and only then should they be dispelled. Early dispels or bad positioning will send people flying off the edge, into puddles, all kinds of dangerous stuff. Having someone pick a safe time and count it down in voice chat helps out a lot, especially with everything else going on. And that's Skill Commander Sarkareth. All of this is stuff you can totally do. The trick is just watching for all of it at once, especially in phase 3. I believe in you. Thanks for watching, good luck in Aberrus, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.